Wow, well, welcome back. Thanks for dealing with us again. We're here back on the couch. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
tired. Yeah.
What's been
I'm
going on lately? Why do you think you're so tired? Aside from being a mom and the usual stuff that comes with it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's
Let's
get into
yeah.
it.
Um I want to talk this episode about something that's very dear to and close to my heart.
Hmm.
Um the subject of perimenopause. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm going to start crying.
Oh,
I
no, it's
can't do it. I can't.
okay. It's
Okay.
okay. I know you've been dealing with that lately. So, talk to me about that. Like, what has your journey looked like from the very start to even now?
Um so that is I don't know if it's the reason why I'm tired today. But from what I read on the internet, it definitely could be. Um,
The Redditors are never wrong.
the Redditors are never
Mm,
wrong.
mm,
Um, I have, I want to say, like, I just got diagnosed recently, like within a month or two ago, two
mm,
months ago.
mm.
Um, and I want to say that it probably started in my mid to late 30s, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, I felt like things were changing, things were different. And I want to say that like I blamed it on having kids because I had kids later, like in my well, my early to mid 30s.
Mm.
And then I was like, I've said that probably to you so many times that I got, I started suffering with anxiety when I had kids. It was like,
Yeah. So, this whole time you're thinking it's the kids, it's the stress and the load of motherhood. You're not even in your mind registering that it could possibly be perimenopause. I always say that wrong. Is it
no, yeah, for sure.
perimenopause? Okay. I always
Yeah.
throw a O in there. I I always say
Perimenopause?
perimenopause.
No.
It just feels right, but
Yeah.
it's not. So you had no idea. You weren't even thinking because I'm in my I would say early 30s. I would say 32 is early 30s. And I don't think about that. I
Right.
don't think about that.
Right.
I don't it's not even something that even crosses my mind.
It's the same. That's the same. Like, and that's why it's really important for me, as hard as it is, to
Yeah.
discuss it. And again, it's not hard because I think it's just because it's something that I'm learning now, but it's such a impactful, um, stage in a woman's
Mhm.
life. Or, I mean, for some women, it's not, it's different for everyone. But it's something I had no idea about. I mean, when we were young, you're like, menopause. And I didn't even know what perimenopause was or postmenopause.
Yeah, I didn't know there was like a before phase to
Right.
menopause. I just thought it was like boom, you're in it.
Right. 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 Same. And it was something, that I kind of was like, that's something like old people deal with.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think. I mean,
People in their 50s at the very least.
at the very least, but really 60s. I didn't think that like a 30-year-old, even though I thought 30 was old, back then,
Why did we
especially, we're so horrible little shits.
girl, I had a plan. I
Right.
was going to have a family by 23. That is insane to me. I thought
Right.
23 was like, the age
Me too.
where I'm going to get stuff done and I'm going to have my family and I'm going to
Right. Like by
girl.
25, I was like, I'm going to have a
Yeah.
career.
Same,
I'm
23
my
to
kids are
25.
going to be
Mhm.
like in these schools and thriving, but no. We took a decade off. So, so to start, I want to say that like honestly, it started mid to late 30s. I dealt with the postpartum, which we discussed. But then after with my second, I was just like, oh my God, this is just motherhood. And I think that maybe, I don't know if it happens like that or how, for everyone. I don't know if the transition or the timing of the motherhood and the
I was
perimenopause.
just gonna ask you about that because how old were you when you had Nas?
When I had Nas, I had just turned 35.
Okay. And that's the age where you start kind of
It was after
transitioning and kind of
Nas.
feeling, so it's almost like when can you officially feel like you've transitioned over to something else aside from the postpartum?
Because motherhood is so big, right? It's like such a big
God, we can't get
transition.
a break as women.
No, right. It's such a big transition. And I was like, this is it. I have two children. And I would look at everybody else and I'm like, God, now I understand. Now I understand. But there was something
Same.
else that was happening, that I didn't notice until, I want to say until lately.
Hmm.
And maybe I got the awareness because my kids are getting older and I'm like, okay, it's not really, it shouldn't be this taxing on me. It shouldn't be, not that it's not, but it shouldn't be, I shouldn't be reacting or getting worse as they're getting more independent and getting better. And,
You
you
should be
know,
feeling like you're leveling out and it's getting easier for you,
yeah,
but it's not.
right,
And so,
right.
was that an indicator to you that something deeper was going on?
No,
No.
no. So I'm like, how I am. I'm like, um, holistic, and if I could, I'm very sensitive and I've always been sensitive with my body. I've from a young age, I've always told the doctor what was going on. I'm like, this is what it is, you can test.
No, honestly, you're always the person that I go to when I'm like, something's happening, and you're like, bitch, do you take ashwagandha? Bitch, do you take black tea
Right,
leaves?
right.
You know,
Black seed oil.
oh, see,
Right,
I
right,
know
right.
nothing. I know nothing. You're
Right,
the guru
right.
here.
Because food is medicine, but that's another episode. So I literally was like, what started happening is simultaneously, and I didn't know it was all the same thing, but I started getting like anxious and I thought it was from the kids. So I was like, oh my God, I'm anxious. I might have to go to a psychiatrist to get anxiety medicine. Then at the same time, I was getting like foggy brains. I remember
Brain fog. Oh my god.
I couldn't focus with work. I couldn't get nothing done through the
Hmm.
day. It was like and that created, because I'm such like a ambition, I'm like driven. I was like, what's going on with me? Like, this is it. I'm done. I can't, it must be, they call it mom fog, like after. So I thought maybe it's mom fog
I
and
went
now
through
I'm
that
done
too.
for. So then I remember in particular, it was two times I forgot my address. I remember one of the times the Amazon person came to the door and I don't try to meet them there. I try to do everything to avoid them, but I opened the door and they
It's
were there.
awkward.
I know.
It's like,
And they,
just give me my fucking baggage.
so they were looking at it and I was like, wait, you can give it to me. And they were like, no, I don't think this is the right address. What's your address? And I was like, I was like, oh shit. I
That's
was like, you
happened to
tell me what
me.
my address is and I'll tell you if it is,
Yeah, that's happened to me
Has
before.
it?
Even with my phone number, I'm like, wait, what's my phone number?
Right. And
You
some of
know,
it's normal, right? Or that's what some of it is. I'm sure some of it's normal. I'm sure like men will be like, or just anybody, any age will be like, I remember in school forgetting how to spell things, like every so
yeah,
often. I'm sure some of it's normal,
that
but
happens to me now. I look at a word too long and I'm like, is that right? I don't think there should be two E's in there.
right.
But so brain fog,
Brain fog,
anxiety.
anxiety.
What were other
I thought
symptoms?
ADHD, right? Because of the brain fog, because I would go into the
Ah,
garage and I'd
I
be
mean,
like,
aren't we all a little
right. But I was like,
ADHD-ish?
that's what it must be. And then I,
Yeah.
I became advocating for that. I'm like, oh, we're on our phones too much. This COVID, post COVID, all this stuff is creating ADHD. And then the other things started happening. I was like, I never used to diet or anything like that, but I was like, oh, getting like these jeans are getting a little tight. And I noticed that it was harder. Like it wasn't just like no effort to maintaining my figure.
Your
And
weight.
then
Mm-hmm.
like I would gain weight for no reason, for breathing is what it felt like. And that's horrible.
That's what every
And
day of my life feels
bloated.
like.
And I remember talking to one of my friends and I was like, hey, like it doesn't matter. I can like eat a grape and I, like I
Five
just,
pounds.
right. I just
There
feel
it
so
is.
bloated.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah. So I thought, okay, well, maybe it's something in the foods. Like, I was blaming everything. And then my ear started itching. That's the worst symptom. No, it's one of the worst.
Ew,
My
do you
ear
make that
started itching.
noise that people do when they go like
Oh, no,
that?
no, that's gross.
I
No.
can't even read. I
You just
can't even
did.
read.
You just
No,
did.
I
That's,
didn't do it good.
but
I
I got
cannot. It's
it.
the worst.
I got it. It's
Please don't
almost like from the
ever.
back of their
Yes,
throat.
please don't ever do that around me.
Why do they do that? Does it like touch? Oh, ear, nose, and throat. It
Yeah,
touches.
it's all
Yeah.
connected, but I don't
Ew. But how do
understand
you
what.
itch so close that
Yeah,
you gotta make like?
it's just
Yeah, that's
disgusting.
gross.
The-
So
mm.
my ear was itching. So self-diagnosing queen, I was like, I have allergies. I gotta go get allergy shots. It was just like
It's crazy how you thought it was everything
everything
else
but
except
that.
for the thing that it actually was.
And that's the sad part, right? That's the part that really is the reason why I'm talking about it today. Because I went to my OBGYN a year ago, and I respect, I love male doctors, but I
Ooh, I don't.
specifically went to a woman, a female doctor. Ever since I found out I was pregnant, I just switched over completely to all women doctors. Um, and she's, I went to her and I said, something's wrong. I did my research. I think I'm definitely in perimenopause. Cause I was getting like hot, like in the middle of the night, I'd wake up a little hot.
Like hot,
And it's
yeah.
like, when I think of this, I'm like, oh my God, an old person waking up hot. Like, when you see the media portraying it.
Like fever hot, like
No,
you
it's
know, you
really
know
just
that
like
feeling when
you're
you're like
hot.
kind of like cold
Like, you just
sweats.
want to throw the covers off of you. But when you do, you're
Um,
like, I'm so hot. Like,
mm.
And I would wake up in the middle, of the night sometimes. Like, I thought I had insomnia. And then drinking alcohol. Like, I don't know if it's a symptom, but I noticed that when I drink, it would wake me up in the middle of the night. I don't know. So all these things started happening, and I was like, something's wrong. And then I had a couple of times where I spazzed out on Ryan for no reason, and the kids, and I was like, whoa.
So mood swings.
Right. So I told her, and she was like, how old are you? And I, at the time I was 41, I think. And she was like, no, you're too young. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I have it. And she was like, no, you're too young. She's like, do you still get your period? And I was like, yeah, I still get it. And she's like, is there anything off with it? And I was like, no, but sometimes it's longer than it should be. And sometimes it comes, I think,
Whenever it wants.
like, no, just like twice in a month. Like twice, it happened twice in a month. And she
Oh.
was like, no, you're not experiencing it. If you want to get on birth control, you can, but you're not experiencing it. So I was like, and I trust my doctor. So I was like, okay.
It's
Went
crazy how
on.
they just like shut you down.
Shut you down. So, long story short, she left me on my self-diagnosing journey, and I just continued. I'm now week 12 of allergy shots. Like, I spent lots of money on all these supplements that were like for mood focus, and just a bunch of things that just put me in the wrong direction. When I started realizing, all right, like, fuck this,
Yeah.
something else is
But
going
how did
on.
you feel knowing that it was that? Because I think when we get those feelings internally, we're usually right. Nobody knows us more than we know ourselves. So
Right,
for you to feel so strongly like, oh, this is what it is, and for your doctor to be like, actually, no, it's not. You're too young. It's just the dots are not
right.
connecting. How did that make you feel? Did you feel like that changed anything? Or
No, yeah,
did you
well,
feel like you weren't seen? Did you,
correct. So
yeah,
that's what it felt like. Like, it felt frustrating as fuck. Like, it felt so
I can
frustrating.
imagine.
It felt like you feel hopeless. You feel like there's no hope, right? There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And unseen, right? I think that's the biggest thing. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, like, I'm just gonna have to continue this upward fight on my own. And then you almost feel like you're going crazy because you're like, all this stuff is happening. Nobody around you understands it. If you say it, it's almost like being a girl and being like, I can't, I have my period. And people looking at you like, so what? Like, or I
Yeah.
can't and I'm pregnant, or I'm going through this or whatever. It's like, so what? There's millions of women, You're supposed to swim when you have your menstrual cycle. You're supposed to go to work. You're supposed to get dressed up. You're supposed to do a lot of things.
That's crazy to me.
Me too. Me too.
It feels like knives are being stuck up your vagine and twisted. That's what the cramps feel like. And you want
Right.
us to work.
Right.
You want us to
Do all type of
mother.
things.
You want us to basically live our normal lives. And I
Right.
get that. But I always feel like there is no empathy for women.
Correct.
And
There's like no grace.
there's no grace.
Right. It's like,
Why am I paying
understand.
$11 for a pack of tampons? Why am I paying for something that should
Right.
be free?
It should be free. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Sorry,
Like,
I'm getting off on a tangent about the periods, but it just pisses me off because, like, y'all don't want to see us, but you want to capitalize off of our experiences and off of our pain.
right. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I agree with that. And I mean, from young, I think that I'm sure, like, from young, right? Like, I would go to school and I'd be like, why can't I call out of school? Like, why do I have to go in? Like, I literally, and back then, it's
Not
like,
call out of school.
no, but when you're like, when you first get it, I got my period young.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, you had to use pads and things like that. And I was like, why do I have to go to school like this? Like, with a diaper on.
Exactly.
I'm bleeding. I was like, I'm like dying.
And when you're young, you don't use tampons. I didn't start using tampons until I was like
That's what I'm saying.
older, like in my 20s, you know?
I did it younger and it was because my cousin, I got my period while visiting her and she wanted to go in the pool. And I was like, I can't. I was like, no.
I still don't feel comfortable going into the pool.
I was like, I
with a
can't. And she's like,
yeah.
it stops in the water and you can put a tampon on. And I was like, what the hell? So that's how I found out. My mom was livid. My mom was livid.
I'm sure she was.
Because I was young. But back to just like women's health in general, I was sent down like basically like a rabbit hole. Like I just was.
What should have been
like
your
gaslighted.
doctor's job was now your job.
Correct.
And it's like, what am I paying insurance for? For you to
Correct.
tell me that nothing's wrong when
And
something is wrong?
And you're right about that, but I would have paid anything for somebody to listen to me and just kind of
just be like, hey, I hear you.
Right, acknowledge my experience. Like acknowledge what I'm saying. And
like, let's explore it, you know?
Right. And then what happens when I did come in this time, because now I was like, and it sucks, right? Because I came in, I was like, I got it. I'm missing periods. My periods are all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, it's up, it's down there. I don't know when it's coming. It's like Houdini, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, you're definitely in perimenopause. And I lost it on her. I was like, I'm angry. Like, because I came in angry.
Wait. So this was the same doctor?
Same doctor. And I came in like, look, if you don't help me.
So this is after the first time you came in. Oh.
This is
and then she
later.
wanted to say, you're definitely in.
Because my period was now.
Up and down.
Like a jack in the box. I was like, okay, fine. Because I was like, I really lost it.
But wasn't it like that in the beginning when you first went to her?
It wasn't I wasn't missing them.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't missing them. I remember telling her, hey, it's heavier than usual. Sometimes it's like all over the place. I'm like, I might have endometriosis. I was like, I went to everything, right? I was like, I have a cyst. I have something going on. And she was like, no. So this last time, I honestly, like deep down, I feel like it's because of my anger, like because of how strong I came at her. Like, look, and I also mentioned to her because I felt like,
but I feel like that's necessary sometimes because for women, it feels like nobody's advocating for us.
Correct. And that's, I wanted to tell her, like, it was really important for me to say to her, hey, I didn't feel heard. And you're a woman. And you made me feel like I left here and I was making the shit up.
Wait, did you say that?
Yeah.
Good for you.
And it was really important for me to say it, not because of because they base their practice on like all women and see, they're taking care of women. So I made sure to say I didn't feel heard. And she apologized and, I accepted and I was like, all right. And I was like, I had gone on ChatGPT by then. And I was like, look, we're going to work with ChatGPT, me, you, and Chat. and we are going to figure this out. And I want my hormones tested. And I forgot to mention, the first time I asked for my hormones to be tested, she was like, you don't need them. Like, it's not like, she's like, I'm gonna do your iron because you're like borderline anemic. And I was like, and this time she agreed to the hormone testing, even though it wasn't it was like, okay. But she's like, I really want to check on your thyroid because your thyroid could be causing all this stuff. And I was like, it's not my
Girl,
thyroid.
shut up. It's not the thyroid.
I
At
was
this point, Chat GPT knows more than you.
I was like, it's not my thyroid. But I was like, fine, do it. I don't care because I don't know when's the last time I got my thyroid checked. I was like, go ahead, but make sure you test
Along
everything
with
else.
that, test the hormones
Right.
like I requested.
Right.
Miss Mamas.
And I did feel like I should probably go to another doctor, like another one that specialized in it. But
Yeah.
at that point, you're like, you have that familiarity. You're like, I have to go find another provider.
Finding a new doctor is
It's
stressful.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let me see if I can work with her. And that's why it was, again, important for me to communicate with her. So, like, don't play with me again. But also,
Yeah, you played in my face the first time.
the first time, right. And then,
Waste of a damn copay.
how many other people are here? So it did highlight though, because once I got my test in, everything was like normal. Like normal, 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 normal.
Yeah.
No matter how low, how high on that range it was normal. And she was like, yeah, we don't need to address that now. We can, deal with it XYZ. And I, after doing my research, realized that your hormones are changing every day. Like, this is a very complex issue. And I think that our medical system is not, they haven't focused on it. I don't think that, even with all of the strides I feel like it's making, and I don't know if I'm finding out more about it now because of the internet, because of social media, or because of my age, where it's like, it
And
matters.
you're experiencing it, I think, firsthand for yourself. So
Right.
I think when you're experiencing something, you're more exposed to that thing. And so now I feel like maybe you're looking at it differently, or
My ear is
you're
open for it.
like
Yeah.
your ears are perked up, and you're paying more attention because it's
For
happening to
sure.
you.
For sure. And like, I don't know. I think that, but I think that is like a big, big, big disservice to women the way it is now. Because and again, I'm not a medical expert at all. I don't know shit. I just know my experience with this.
And that's
And
all we
that's what
can
this
talk
is,
about.
right? This is
Yeah.
solely based on like my experience with it and what I've been going through. And I felt it important for me to talk about it so that if you are going through it and you can relate, that it could lend some kind of, just even hearing somebody say what you've been going through. And
Wait,
just,
so sorry, I didn't mean
no, it's
to
okay. Go
interrupt
ahead.
you. I have a question.
Yeah.
If I don't ask it, it'll leave. What do you think has been the most surprising stage of this journey for you? Was it your doctor telling you, no, you don't have that? Or was it the moment she finally diagnosed you and was like, actually, yeah, you do have that? Or was it the symptoms, like, and kind of being in the dark about
Right.
everything? Is there anything that stood out to you?
I want to say probably the thing that the two things that really stood out is how far behind and how like not aligned the actual experience is with the anecdotal, like the medical part of it.
Mm,
Like, now being in this age and just like having soccer mom friends and things like that at this stage in
yeah.
my life, when I speak with them, we're all going through the same things and we're all getting the same answers from our doctor. And every so often they'll get like, you'll get a unicorn doctor or somebody that's like gives you a little, and it helps. And we're sharing like within that community, within that network of
Mm-hmm.
our experiences and helping each other out. And when you go back to like a medical professional and say that, or try to like get them to kind of, fill that gap or
Mm-hmm.
kind of meet you where that is, it's just surprising that it's so, it's almost like this so far behind, and it feels like, just from being in it and just kind of being a woman, that there's like a shame attached to it almost. Like, because
Mm.
even going into the doctor's office, it's like, it's an OBGYN, and it's like they're so focused on, do you want to have kids? Do you not want to have kids? Can I help you have kids? Do you want to not have, like, can I help you not have kids?
Yeah.
It's let's help you prepare for kids. It's not, there's no, really
It
no.
kind of feels like they don't have enough information about it. So because they don't have enough information about it, it's like, oh, let's tiptoe around this because I don't actually, and this is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that all doctors are correct about things. I think that sometimes, well, not that I think, I know there's been studies, there's been case studies, there's been situations where doctors have misdiagnosed patients, but it kind of feels like with this particular diagnosis that they just don't have enough information because it's not being talked about enough. I don't
Correct.
hear anything about perimenopause, honestly, ever.
And look at the age you're at, right?
Yeah.
Like it's something that you maybe should start
Like,
hearing
shouldn't I be
about.
a little bit more exposed
Right.
to it, especially at my
Yeah.
age?
I feel
And
like when you're at the motherhood age, like when you have a child, like around that time, you should be getting education
yeah,
of some sort, like at least from your doctors, like your women doctors, which again, like you were saying, it's like you don't think they have information and stuff like that. But if you look back in history and just like how it is, women are not really ever included in medical studies. Like it's if you look back at like the history of
yeah,
medical studies, it's they're not studying like, women. And again, like what is that? Like there's so many strides in other movements that we see, and then it's like we've been here the whole time. Like it's still this shame like kind of on it, like even talking about it, like it was so emotional for me, or so like,
yeah,
oh, like I'm gonna talk about it. And it's sad because on the silver lining part of it for me, there's been like a freeing. Um there's I felt free about it. I've been focusing on myself. It's like this celebratory period of myself, and it's weird cuz it's the whole thing with perimenopause, menopause and postmenopause, right? It is almost like
there's a post.
there's a post. I just found that out
Oh my
recently,
God.
right? I heard that because I think according to
Lord help us.
definition, and I don't, again, this is off the top of my head. I think perimenopause, it means like
Pre.
before,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's before the menopause. And menopause is like when you start missing, I think periods, and you're not really like in menopause until you've missed I think a period for a full year. Like even if there's spotting, even if there's anything like that,
I didn't know that.
then it's not really menopause. You're still like in perimenopause, which can last up to, I mean, it could last 2 to 10, 15 years, like something I see so many different.
That's crazy.
And think about like the differences in this time and that time. Like we're putting different things in our body. We're like things are changing. Kids are going
Yeah.
through um
Puberty.
puberty
Mm-hmm.
faster than they normally would. So like it's not crazy to think that we would start feeling these symptoms earlier than we did decades ago, right? But and then I think the postmenopause, just to bring it back, I think that's like after the menopause. I don't know. Like I'm
Yeah,
not,
post means, yeah,
but I
after.
don't know what
But what does that
medically, like
even
it's how it's
mean?
triggered or how they look at it. I do know that perimenopause though, like from my own experience, was triggered when I said, "Oh yeah, I'm skipping and I'm jumping around." Then
Yeah.
like periods, then they were like, "Okay, fine."
So what is the like the shame aspect behind it? Like why do you think it is such a why do you think there's shame attached to coming to terms that you are in a season in your life where you're experiencing perimenopause and that whole
I,
transition?
yeah, I think that if I had to,
Is it like
like, I
a
haven't thought about it, but I think that it might be because of how we're like how our culture is like based around it. Like we don't, like even when you get your period, it's like this hush hush thing, like if
yeah.
you were like, "Hey, I have my period," people are like, "That's vulgar." Like, or why is she so?
That's so true. I was
Yeah,
just thinking that. I'm like, people are really uncomfortable. There's this discomfort with
yeah,
being vocal about something that is
natural to us.
natural to us.
And I mean, there could be some kind of class with it. Like, it's vulgar also if somebody's like, "Hey, I just took a shit." Like you're like,
That's true.
you
Because
know,
that is also a natural thing.
right. But I think that there's, I mean, maybe it's the same. Maybe it's like taking a shit, but why? But like, I mean, I still, if somebody was like, hey, I need to use the bathroom, I wouldn't be like, there's a shame on it. Even like, I don't know. I don't know. That's something to kind of like sit there and think about. But I know that growing up, at least for me, like we discussed, you were old. And I
That's what I was thinking
like you're
initially
old
when
and
you
you're
said
like
it.
you're not working
Yeah.
properly, you know? And
It's like,
I
oh, you're burnt out. Like
right.
you're
And it's funny you say that cuz I did go through a mourning period. Like I did go through this like and it wasn't when I finally got validation. It was the first time. Like the first time before when I was preparing to go to the doctor to be like, "Hey, I diagnosed myself. I'm in this
yeah.
stage." There was this mourning period where I was like, "Whoa, what does this mean? If I stop getting it, I can't have any more kids. What if I stop getting it?" And women,
Mm,
we're creators by nature, right? That's what we do. We create. Um, and we're also, our whole existence is based on cycles. Like even our normal cycle is like 4 phases, you know?
yeah.
So it's
That's
now,
crazy you said that because I was, as you're talking, I'm thinking about, wow, we really are constantly in transition in our lives.
it's a complete cycle.
It's always, we're
It's a
always
circle. Yep.
yeah, we're always in the middle of a cycle.
Always. Right.
We
And
can't
that's
just
why this is
be.
so complex because
Yeah.
when they check your hormones, it's like, well, what cycle, what phase are you in your cycle? Are you in luteal? You know, it's like,
I
and,
never know.
and I mean, if you,
We get 2 good weeks out of the month and that's it.
and back in the day, they used to, you know, the whole thing used to be based on the moon, you know, like the whole, and it's cycles because you see how the moon cycles.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. You can see it, and that's another again another discussion. But we are based on cycles, and this was a cycle that was I was no longer going to experience
Yeah.
like as a full cycle,
Yeah.
and it was morning, and I was like, oh my god, it was this whole thing with my identity. Like, what does that mean
I
for
was just
me?
going to
Who am
ask
I
you, yeah,
now?
like how has this entire journey shaped your identity? Like in what ways?
That was hard,
Yeah.
and I don't know how it shaped it except for that I think I'm less willing to compromise when it comes to pleasing people. You know, like I don't know if
Mm,
I do not care to please anybody but myself. I do not
yeah.
I do
Not in
not
like a selfish way, but like a I'm prioritizing myself in a way that
in an
I
empowering way.
haven't, yeah, in an empowering way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely say
Especially, I
that.
think, too, with your experience with just the doctor and just everything, you know?
Correct.
It's like,
Like you're not going to tell
you're
me.
not going to tell me.
No, you're not going to tell me. Like, thank you, I appreciate it, but no thank you. And it has affected me in every way. It's affected me in doing this podcast. It's affected me in work. It's
Yeah.
affected me in my personal life. It's affected me with my husband. Like it's affected me in with myself, my relationship with myself, where it's like instead of mourning what I lost or am losing or is possibly in the horizon of going, I'm like almost like if you phoenixy, like I'm now seeing this rebirth, but we're shedding, all that extra stuff because
Yeah.
you cannot escape it. Like you can't run from it. It's happening. I can't imagine why you would want to hide it, or at
Right.
least why I would want to hide it. It's kind of like one of those things where I was like, it's either like, you know, I don't know, embrace it now or fight it. Like,
Yeah.
so
Do you think that going through postpartum and that whole process, do you think that that has helped you with being more accepting of the perimenopause and just, like you said, help you kind of just shed that faster and just come to terms with that faster? Because remember, we always talk about how in our
yeah.
postpartum season, it was like a no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, I don't have postpartum, or I don't,
Yeah.
it was like this struggle to accept that we were going through it, it was actually happening to us. But from what I'm hearing in your journey with the perimenopause, it sounds like it's coming easier, a little bit easier for you maybe to accept that
You're right.
you're in this and you're like, all right, I'm in this. What now? Like, I'm not going to wallow in it. Because I feel like for me personally, I was kind of wallowing in my postpartumness until I felt like I didn't want to anymore. But it seems like for you, you are like, okay, let's just get through this. Let's do what we have to do. We're here. Let's move forward, type of thing. Do you think that going through that has helped you in your journey with perimenopause? See, I can never say that word right.
I think that it, I mean, because it happened, because I experienced it, of course, but if I really were to think of like what I would attribute to helping me the most, I think it would be the kids and the symptoms.
Mm,
Like you can't, my period was like every 28 days, like same time.
yeah.
Like I was like, oh my, like, so when your body is showing you a difference, like you can't, whereas like you're feeling different with with the
Postpartum.
postpartum,
Mm-hmm.
where you're feeling different and you're like, oh, I don't know, this is weird. The physical symptoms of it, like the actual period changes and fluctuations, for me, that was like, I can't deny it. Let me see. And I think
Mm,
that naturally, as the type of person I am, I dive into like self diagnosing. And I was like, okay, what's this? What's that? And then it was the kids and my husband also. Um, but the kids, because I was like, I can't keep, like, I need to get this under control because I have young kids.
yeah.
And this is, and also like, as soon as they're independent and they want to leave the soil that we have provided for them, I would like to live.
Ooh,
I would like to live the rest of the best
my
years of
next
my
life
life.
will begin when that
So, and I'm
happens.
looking forward. I mean, I'm not looking forward to it, but
We're looking forward to it.
but I am I don't want anything like this and misinformation or lack thereof to kind of stop me from achieving
Enjoying,
that.
yeah,
And you know me, like I live by balance, and the fact like that's something I can't handle, and it feels like an imbalance. It feels and
yeah. You
this
are
can
such a calm person. I remember even this morning I was on the we were on the
yeah,
phone and I was like, you're so good at just being like, okay, everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out. Like, and I'm like, like I just want to like,
no,
cuss everybody out. And so you are a very balanced person, and even you going through this process and just having the grace that you had for yourself, and but also recognizing that you're human and
right,
you're going to have days where you're frustrated with
right,
yourself. You're frustrated with the process. You're frustrated with what your body's doing. And that's really interesting that you said that postpartum is more an emotional thing. I think there is a physical aspect, of course. I
yeah,
think the only physical aspect is like, okay, my body doesn't look the same because I
right,
just gave birth. Now what?
yeah,
But a lot of it is internal and it is
right,
emotional and it is like, how are you feeling about yourself? Whereas
mm-hmm.
the perimenopause is like, it is physical and it is a lot of the physical is kind of things
Yep,
that you
that
can't
pudge.
control.
When you grab that pudge, you're like, wait,
Yeah.
who are you?
Get the fuck out.
But
But no, but I didn't think about that, and that's really interesting because they are similar but also very different.
right,
So the way that you deal with it has to be different. But I do think there is like kind of like when you go through something once and then you go through it again,
for sure, for
it
sure.
seems easier this time around to kind of grasp it, and I think that's what I was
Well, that's
mostly getting
growth,
at. Yeah.
right? That's
Mhm.
growth. It's like you grew through that. Um, and if you come out on the other side looking at the growth as a blessing, I think that you won't look at something else as like, why is this happening to me? I'm always dealing with this stuff.
Did you
And
ever feel like that? Like, why is this happening to me?
not like overall as an arching theme, but
Yeah.
in the middle of like, I remember one time, and we've had several talks about this, the way like the overwhelmness, and even that, I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. Like, it's in the noise and all the stuff. And when that anger train like leaves the station and I cannot control it, I'd be like, whoa, like, not so much why is it happening to me, but scared, like, and
Yeah.
like, this is like something that's real, and this is something, because you're like kind of, you if it goes unchecked, you can lose. It does stress and put stress on other underlying things. Like if you have depression or anxiety already, or it does look like that, but it can definitely kind of like,
Yeah.
contribute to that kind of coming out the shadows or being problematic for you.
Did you find comfort in knowing that okay, everybody's gonna go through this? Like
No,
every woman is gonna experience
no.
this.
And I say that because in this situation, like, I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, what the fuck?
Hey, I have a question.
I was like,
What the fuck?
I know. With the knife, like, I was like, what happened? So, and she was like, I never experienced that. And she's like, and my mom never did
Girl.
too. But maybe it's possible. And she was like, you probably got that from your grandmother, from our grandmother. And
But is that even scientifically possible? I
maybe,
is it
possibly, yeah,
Are
I
there
think
women
so.
who I thought every for some reason I thought every woman is gonna experience menopause. Or maybe they don't. I don't know.
So for my mom's situation, like, I kind of thought like, well, let me tell you, you went through it because you're extra like
Yeah, you
angsty
just
and
didn't know that you went through
right.
it.
But she said she didn't, and it maybe the only thing I could say is if it didn't have an effect on her life, which she was aware of, or really affected her in the way, like,
That
thank
it's
God.
affecting you.
Thank
Mhm.
God. I'm more power to her. And honestly, my grandmother, this is funny. My grandmother passed at 65 from cancer, right?
Mhm.
And then my grandfather remarried. Um, and the woman he remarried went through menopause while they were married, and they got a divorce because of it. When I asked him, he was like, something weird's happening,
Oh.
this thing called menopause. And he's like, I never heard of this before. Your grandmother never went through it. And I was like, damn, like,
Damn.
so he was like, yeah, but so when she says it, it's kind of damn, right? Because I was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you never heard of it? But just that kind of sheds light on, you know, past generations and the way it's just kind of been
And
handled.
I think men need to learn about it too.
And my grandfather is
Because
very like into like Gandhi-ish when it comes to medical. He's like, clean your colon, clean your liver, clean all this
yeah.
stuff. So when he told me, when he taught me so much about my body and like how it works and things like that, when he told me he's never heard of menopause, I kind of was disappointed in him, even though I wasn't dealing with it then. This
Yeah.
is like when I was pregnant with Sincere.
Was it like oh, well, you know so much about everything else. Why don't you know about menopause? But that's also
It's like
so sad.
yeah,
It's the patriarchy of it
yeah.
all, you
It's
know?
it's definitely like it just made me look
Men
at
are
him
always
like,
the focus.
yeah. And I was like, and I love him so much. And I mean, he has a lot of like daughters and
Yeah.
granddaughters in his life. So he's always freely spoke to us to the point where like other people are like, your grandfather, is he a doctor? It's like, no, he's just bold. But it was weird to me because he was like, what's this thing? What's this thing that this lady's acting crazy? And now that I'm like kind of experiencing it,
See,
yeah, I'm like, and that's what I
y'all
said.
are quick to peg us as crazy when we're actually going through something internally. And I bet you if your grandfather was more educated about
Right.
perimenopause and menopause,
He would
all
have
the
been
things,
talking to
he
us.
would have been talking to you, but he
Yeah.
also probably would have saved his marriage. He probably would have had more grace for his wife,
Yes.
So
I agree.
I think more men should learn about it. But men are so uninterested in women
Right.
until
They need
they
something.
need something or we're of service to them.
Right,
And it's
right.
so fucking annoying.
Right. And it's funny, but going back to it, I that's why I kind of believe, like, when my mom says it, it's understandable, because I don't know if
Yeah.
my grandmother wasn't at the age, but at 65 I would think she had gone through it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's possible that they didn't have it. And it's not. There's a lot of women. It's just like pregnancies. You know how some women are like, I love being pregnant. This was a breeze. I didn't
God,
get morning sickness once. And
liars.
see, but they, you
I'm
got to
just kidding.
believe their experience. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, but it was pure hell every single day for me, every single
Hello.
second. And maybe, and I remember telling Ryan, because of my pregnancy, I was like, you think this is what's going to happen to me? Like in the end, the men, like for a
The
second, I
menopause,
said,
yeah.
like, you think this is, I'm going to have probably a bad transition. And it just now came back to me as we were talking about it, that I actually mentioned something like that to him. But I do think that in talking to other women, is where the advocacy a lot, like, lies.
Mm-hmm.
It's you got to take it outside of that, though. You need to take it an extra step. This only gets better if we, as a as a group,
Collective,
right, as a
yeah.
collective, are there for each other, normalize it, speak to each other about it. That's why I'm bringing it up today, because I don't know, it is a process. It's going to be a long process.
Yeah.
I thoroughly doubt this is going to be like a 2 year thing for me, or like a 1 year thing. But also a time to celebrate ourselves as women, and to like start diving in and learning more, because it wasn't until later in my life that I realized we're on cycles. We're on cycles. We're on
Yeah.
cycles.
I didn't actually realize that until probably this episode, like now.
Right.
Like it didn't occur to me that we're always constantly transitioning or going through something, and it
And do
just
we
feels,
honor it?
do
We
we
don't.
honor it?
No.
No.
And that, like, to me, it's like the little changes like that can help it. Right? So I've just been trying to stay still with it all,
Yeah.
and just kind of stay still through the changes. It's not, every day is not bad. There are some hills and there's some valleys,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely think that just having the awareness, I can just go up from here. So I this is just a call to advocate for yourselves, like
Yeah.
advocate. Um if one doctor you feel is not listening to you, go to another doctor, go to the internet.
And stand firm. Like if you feel like your doctor's not listening to you, don't change how you feel,
Right.
because they very well could be wrong.
Or do like me and just wait the whole year, like going through it. Like it just got
Yeah.
worse. It got worse. And I was upset. I was like, why did you wait until this happened?
I was gonna ask you that. Like, did
Yeah.
you feel like a little bit of a resentment towards your doctor? Because it's like, hey, we
Yes.
could have handled this
Yeah.
a lot
Before I
earlier.
started
And
I lost three
yeah,
friends. No, I'm
before I
joking.
started spiraling.
No, for sure.
Is there anything that you wish people understood better about perimenopause and like the stage that you're in your life? And like, what would you say to other women who are going through it, or maybe think they're going through it?
I again, I can't claim anything like medically. I don't know. I don't know. There's so much out there, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm busy
Mm-hmm.
all the time. So I haven't dedicated as much, and I really, really, really respect and believe that everybody is different. Like when it comes to this, no two cases are the same.
Right.
But what I do wish they knew, in every aspect of it, that they would test for it. Like, so many women are, they just, and even in the therapeutic world, you go to the doctor, for example, and you tell them, I'm going through all this stuff and whatever, this, and that. And they're like, she's hysterical. Like, she's hysterical. You need to put her on mood medication, on Zofran,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And then you go to the therapist and you're like, oh my God. And they're like, anxiety. Like it's anxiety right away. Instead of saying, check your hormones. Like, why don't we check to find out what the root cause is of it, instead of putting you on, beta blockers or SSRIs and all these things, and just writing you off as crazy and saying, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
have these symptoms. Why don't we get to the root of it, and start young? Like
You know what I think too is, I just realized that when you go to the doctor, you go to the doctor to get like a checkup
yeah,
or whatever, but you're usually going to the doctor because something's wrong, right? And I feel like the doctor is going to focus on what you feel is wrong, which
Right.
understandable because that's what I'm here for. But also, why aren't you telling me, hey, you're 32. These are the things that you should be educating yourself on. These are the things that you should be aware of. Not because I think that you have them, but because this is what's coming with your age.
Right.
I've never had a doctor tell
You're
me,
right.
hey, check your hormones. I've never
Me
even heard
either.
of doing that
Me
until
either.
you've been sharing your journey with me about
Right.
perimenopause. And you're the one that really put me on to like, hey, check your hormones,
Yeah.
because even stuff like PCOS, I even feel
Yeah.
like that's a whole conversation for another day,
Yeah.
but I feel very similarly about
Yes.
PCOS as well. I feel like it's not being talked about enough, I'm like,
Right.
why do I have chin hairs growing all of a sudden? Or why can't
Right.
I lose my gut? Why am I having a problem with weight gain and and,
Which is
and weight
also, I
loss?
think, connected. Is it
Which is all
connected to hormones also? PCOS?
yes, it
Yes.
is. It's a hormone imbalance.
So
So why aren't they saying these things?
I
It's
think that they
aggravating.
are. I think that they are, but I think that the problem is, first, it's like society. PCOS is like the trending thing now. Like
Mhm.
it's all these trending things. Perimenopause is
It's called
trending.
PCOS now.
PCOS?
Is it PCOS?
I think so.
That's cooler.
Is it PCOS? That's
I'm
how
gonna
I read
start
it.
calling it.
That's the West Indian in me. I hope it's
I'm
PCOS.
gonna start calling it PCOS now. I've never heard of that. It's been like
PCOS.
PCOS the whole time, but
Oh
PCOS
shit.
is very cute. I
I
like
coined
it.
that.
Yeah,
No,
you
I don't
sure
know.
did.
Maybe it's how it's said. I don't know. But I think that they do. Like you go in for a checkup and they're like, take your flu shot. Nobody wants to take a
Yes,
damn flu
nobody
shot.
wants to take the damn flu
Right,
shot.
right.
Get
So,
out of my face
but
about
they
that.
do, but that's all they have. Do you understand? Like they
Yeah.
are, but it's limited. This
And I'm almost like, is
US,
it a quota thing? Like, do you have to get a certain number of people to take their flu shots in a month for you to like? I don't know. Is like a certain goal that you need to
right.
reach? Like a cop with writing
It
tickets?
does
Like I
almost
don't
sound like
know.
that because then when Walgreens started doing it, it
They're
was like, what's
always
the
pushing
incentive?
it. I'm just like,
Right. But for me, like personally, my problem with the medical system here, besides everything we just talked about, is that this system over here, it treats like the sickness, it treats the symptoms, it treats like it's like not preventative maintenance. I
it's not
remember,
getting down to the root
right? They're
of
not trying to keep you well; they're trying to help you when you're sick. I
yeah.
always,
That's kind of like what I yeah,
yeah,
sort of yeah,
yeah.
like what
It's
I was
like,
saying too.
but the flu shot, the flu shot is like so limited. Like you know what I'm saying? It's so limited.
I'll be
And
wanting to tell them you take it. You take the
no,
flu
I hate
shot
when
right
they be
now.
like, I gave it to my daughter. It's like, no, you didn't. So then the other thing is, for me, what I don't like, it really is, it hits a nerve, is why is there one doctor for this, one doctor for that, one doctor? Why is not your general doctor also checking like your menstrual cycles? Like, is it heavy? Is it like, why aren't we using that as
Yeah.
another, what is the
I think
word?
it's just a way for them to just get more money out of us. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, but that's another way to like test, like a heartbeat or like your blood pressure.
Yeah.
That checking that's normal. It also indicates thing. What color is it? Like there's all these things that people
Yeah.
don't want to talk about. It's gross. But it's not, right? It's not. It's the
Mhm.
same way you'd be like, well, if your shit is black, you're eating a lot of iron. Like it's
Yeah.
the same thing with us. If your period like, is darker and it's trailing or it's longer, it could mean you have too much estrogen. Like there's signs in it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's kind of there's a lot of things. It's so complex. Dealing with it's complex. The answer is complex. But one thing for sure is advocacy and talking. Like I learned a lot about what's going on with me from talking to other women, where we're all just like holding space for each other.
Yeah. You feel seen. You feel like
Right,
you have a community, during the
right.
process and the journey and
You have faith in each
you
other, right?
yeah.
You like share
Mhm.
your like you share those things with them. You're sharing, and it kind of weaves this fabric of like, okay, and I share with you things that I learned from other people, and my
Yeah.
friend shares with me things that she learns, and that's how we're getting ahead.
Yes.
But the medical system is where we need to start
They
advocating.
haven't caught up
You
yet.
need to
Yeah.
start
Mm-hmm.
expecting it, like, and being entitled, being
And being
entitled
okay
to
with,
it.
yeah, with speaking up. It's
Yeah.
your body. And yes, these people are medically trained. Yes, these people are right most of the time. But again, sometimes they are not. And you can't let that sway how you feel,
Correct.
Um, and I think what we feel in our bodies is right most of the time, and even me, I'm not going through it specifically, but I appreciate every time you talk about it and you share it with me, because it's doing something to my mental, and it's kind of prepping and priming me for if that is to come my way, and if that's to be a part of my journey. Like, I
How
know
do I recognize
how do
it?
I how do I
Right.
recognize it,
Maybe I should
like,
consider this instead of taking
yes,
these anxiety
yes.
pills right away. Like, maybe I should check this. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many stories of women getting on hormone replacement therapy, HRT, and saying like, "Oh my God, the brain fog is gone." There's all different types of symptoms that come along with it,
Yeah.
but heart palpitations, that's something else I experienced. I almost went to a heart doctor. because I was like, and then
Oh
that
my
was the first thing that
gosh.
came up, and it was like, what do you do when that
Yeah.
happens? So I think that we need to advocate for each
And
other.
talk about it more.
Yes.
Talk about it more. Don't be shameful. Like, don't feel like there is shame attached to it,
And it goes
because,
from young to old.
yeah,
Like, just because it's not affecting you now doesn't mean it won't affect you
that it
later.
won't.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
the same way there's sexual education courses, or you sit down and you talk to her about her getting her period at some point, especially after they get to like the
Yeah.
childbirthing age. You're like, okay,
Isn't it
just letting
crazy
you
how
know.
all of the most important things that we're going to go through as women, how it is not taught in schools.
No.
There's no programs. There's no, like, barely even the doctors know about it. It's just like, why am I learning about the Pythagorean theorem? I need to be learning about
What happens when this baby
what
comes out?
happens when this baby comes,
How to birth
or
it.
what I'm gonna go through
Right.
with postpartum or perimenopause, or that PCOS is a possibility after childbirth. Like, I've never used the Pythagorean. I don't need anything that geometry is gonna offer me. I don't, unless I'm
Right.
going into like accounting, engineering, whatever. But no, we're
I've
not.
never used algebra.
No,
I'm a CFO.
you think I'm solving for
Right.
X these days?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
I don't.
It's
I could
crazy.
give a fraction of a fuck about that. I don't care. Why are we not
Right.
learning about the most important things, the things that we're actually going to go through
Right.
as adults, as women, and even for men too?
For
You
men too,
know?
because this is something else. Like, I was listening to something and they were like, men go through it too. Like, it's almost like we make fun of it in society, like, oh, you're going through your midlife crisis. But
Mm.
that there is something that changes in men. I have no idea about it.
We're
I
not
don't
men. We
know.
can't. We can't
And
speak
I
on it.
honestly been going through so much. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
unless Ryan comes to me and tells me anything, I don't I don't have the bandwidth.
That's my answer for
I
most
know.
things these days. I do have a question, though. One last question
Yeah.
before we wrap. How do you think that this has impacted your marriage, if it has any?
I think
Because I think there's a lot of women out there that are going through this. They know they're going through this, but it's like, not only are you having to deal
right.
with it internally yourself, but it's also
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, like, I also have to be, you know, present, and I have to be intentional about what it's doing to my marriage, and I have to make sure I'm not snapping on my husband, or I have to, like,
Mm.
it's just a lot. So how have you dealt with that?
I think there were times where it did put stress a little bit, but I have a very open, like, like, when it comes to
Communication,
communication
yeah.
with my husband, and I am very like, I don't know how to stay still very often, which is again my work. But so immediately I'm like, hey, I ring the alarms. I'm like, something's going on. It's not normal. I don't understand it. XYZ, help
Yeah.
me, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that trust was built when I had my first child, my firstborn, where it's like I lean into him so much, and we have this kind of just really strong bond of trust that just feels like it can't be broken when it comes to that, like where you are each other's family almost.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
You are.
yeah, but I'm saying like that this thing happens and you almost feel as connected as a mother or a father,
Right, right, right.
um but it has, I can definitely see where it can cause issues, where it can be taxing, because there's times where I've had to say, look, I know you're probably tired of hearing me say this, but I can't, or I'm feeling like this, or I just need a moment. I have found very quickly, and I think it's just in my own awareness of it, I tell him exactly what I need, and I don't ask. I
Yeah.
just go do it, and then I come back. Fine. It's kind of like when we're like, we had an episode about overstimulated, and I was like, I just walk outside. I just kind of
Yeah.
it. I kind of have been communicating more with what I'm feeling, so
That's
that's
so
helped.
important.
And I'll say, hey, I know this is not a big deal. I know that this is what my mind's saying, but I feel like I'm being, I'm falling through a floor or something crazy,
Yeah.
just so he understands how wild it is for me, like how impactful, like what I'm fighting against
Mm.
in that moment. But there's been guilt from me for sure, even though
Yeah.
I've told myself don't be guilty, like it's fine. There has been guilt because even though I tell myself he might have some shit, later on down the road that I have to be understanding with, it does feel like we have our periods, we have the overwhelmingness with the motherhood.
Mhm.
We and here's another thing that I
Another thing.
another thing I have. So it does feel like that sometimes, and I am still kind of working with that, like working through it. But I definitely think I lucked out with somebody who's very understanding and grounded. He kind of grounds me in it. And the minute I kind of say something, not always the minute, but
Yeah.
he usually, when he acknowledges, okay, something's going on with her, he kind of like pivots and is just there. Like, how can I
Yeah.
help? How can I be there for you? So I don't, it personally, I've just, I've, it hasn't, it's just another thing to deal with. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just something that we're
And
kind
I'm
of
sure you're
going through it.
educating him along the way, like, hey, I have this,
Yeah.
this is what I'm up against,
Yeah.
and this is also what you're up
It
against,
has been
like,
educating for him because, like,
yeah.
even when I found out the cycles, like, I didn't know, and my mom didn't know, and it was so mind blowing how much we didn't know. I was like, even though you're still having like a cycle, there's no egg. Did you know that? Like, at
I
some point,
actually,
the egg stopped,
no,
but the
I didn't
cycle
know
still
that.
happens.
I didn't know
That's what
that.
I was trying to explain to you the other
See?
day. I was like, yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? I thought that the whole thing was the egg. And it was like, no. And I was like, well, why is this happening? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of WTF moments for us. And every time I find out, I tell him because he has a daughter.
That's
We have a
true.
daughter.
That's
And I
true.
don't want this to happen to her. She's going to know about it the minute, she starts,
Coming to you and it's like, hey, mom,
the
this is,
minute I have to talk
yep.
to her about having sex is the minute, very soon after she has that, that little couple
Mm-hmm.
of years of like happiness.
Yeah. Fun.
I'm going to be like, oh, you're thinking about having kids? Okay, let me tell you what happens
This
after.
is what happens.
But no,
Yeah.
it is something I want to start talking to her, like bringing it to her attention from now. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like why not tell her that's something, and when she gets around to it, it'll be on her radar to be like, "Hey, remember that thing
And that's the thing. It's just if you're not going through it right now, at least it's still on your radar.
just on your radar, even if you
And
don't know
even if you don't
about the
know,
details."
yeah.
It wasn't on
And I
mine.
think more women should do that. That's something that
Yeah.
your mom, well, she said she didn't experience it, but I'm like, I'm sure she did. I
Maybe
think
there's some women that swear
maybe,
by it.
yeah, maybe she didn't, but even if she didn't, it's still something that happens to
Yeah.
women. And I think that it still should be talked
In some
about
form.
in some form. It still
Because it's
should be
like you're
talked
getting your
about.
period and you're like, why don't I ever get cramps? And it's like, yeah, that's like one in few.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she had, she had a lot. She had an easier pregnancy. She had an
Right.
easier. When I look at it, when I compare, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I
Yeah.
got the short end of the stick. I'm what is it? Going through family trauma. Like I'm erasing the trauma. It stops with me. I'm gonna
Right. You're breaking the
like bracing,
curse.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
breaking the trauma.
But I
So
think overall, you would say the message for women going through that
yes,
is talk about
for
it, share
sure.
it, advocate for
For
yourself.
sure, 100%. You
Don't
have
be
to
scared to
advocate.
stand on what
Talk
it
to
is
each
you're
other
feeling. Talk
first.
to each other. Yeah.
That's where it became like okay for me. I
Yeah.
I felt like okay, this is okay because Susie, Betty, and I don't know. I'm trying not to use names. Well, XYZ, all these women, we all sound the same. And there
Mhm.
was like comfort in that. And then you go to the doctor and then thank God for social media with some of this stuff. I learned a lot from social media. And just diving in myself. And then you start educating people and then everybody starts talking, they start asking
Yeah.
questions, and now I'm at the point where I think I feel so strongly about it that I want to look for ways to advocate. Like I want to look for ways because I have a daughter,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
love
important for
that.
me, for the young girls that are in high school, or maybe not, that maybe when you're in breathing class or when you're in some kind of parenting class, they're like, hey, what child are you on, or like,
Mhm.
where, how old are you, like maybe we should, or maybe it's a thing where doctors are
Yeah.
starting to roll out a program where you're going and you've indicated, hey, I'm done with my childbearing days, or you're just in your 30s, and they start giving you packets. At least if you gave me a packet, I'd
A
be like,
packet, a
what is
pamphlet,
this?
a something, a flyer.
A message.
Put it on a napkin. I don't
An
know.
alert, like
It's
anything, a poster on your wall,
yeah.
just anything that said, hey,
Y'all
you
already got 10 of them up there.
you should
Just put
start. But that
something.
is something that you can
Yeah.
advocate for. Hey, let's put out a pamphlet, let's give it to these people. Let's, when you have a patient that's in their mid to late 30s, just start providing them with pamphlets. They can read it or they don't have to.
Yeah.
But if you would have given me a pamphlet, as much as I throw shit away and like disregard it, I would have been like, what? Like, why'd you give me this?
But you would
But
have
I would
read
have read
it.
it.
Yeah. You would have at least looked at it.
And if you would have said, hey, are you feeling anxious? Hey, you feeling bloated? Hey, heart, but like these are the symptoms.
Mm,
Just educate to
educate.
know
I
that
think
these are
that's
the
the,
symptoms so that when they occur, you're like, can you test for this? Can you test? And
yeah.
I hear so much. Last thing, I have a girlfriend who tried to get her hormones tested. Doctors are like, no, what do you need that for? And it just kind of like, honestly, like it blew my mind that I was like, why are they saying no? Like, what?
That happened to you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why are they saying no? And then when she was telling them her symptoms, they were like, they tried to prescribe an antidepressant. And I just think,
Not
so
getting to the root of things
right. So
again.
even when we say like push out the advocacy, pushing out the pamphlets or telling the patients, it has to come from an even higher level than that. These doctors
Mm-hmm.
need to kind of like about face.
Yeah.
They need to start considering this as something that's real. And it's crazy because I feel like it's been from the
They
beginning of
need to be
time.
like the leaders in changing the way that we look at these
If they're
things.
not thinking it's
And
a possibility, it doesn't matter if you have a pamphlet and you're like, hey,
yeah.
I have these symptoms. They're like, let me give you an antidepressant, like, because you're
Mm-hmm.
you're hysterical,
Yeah.
like, so. And it's not normal. It's not like just getting old or anything like that.
Exactly.
So that's the
Exactly.
lesson.
Well, thank you
That's the
so much for
message.
sharing this. I
Thank
know
you.
that it has been challenging for you, but also
Hmm.
very liberating. And I'm so proud of you. And
Thank you.
you are going to educate. Like, I love this episode. It's really going to educate
So do
and
I.
hopefully inspire so many women. And, if you guys are going through it, I mean, feel free to let us know, or
Yeah.
but thank you so much, and I love you,
And
and everything's gonna be okay.
everything's gonna be all right.
La la la. Bye.
Bye.